all, welcome to my channel. I'm Mark, this is Mark's Mods. Now today guys, we are going to continue with our Harshette Titanic build. So we are going to do issue 67 of Build a Titanic. Now, 67. If I were to do this as I would normally build it, there would be absolutely nothing to do in this issue, even though there is something to do. Basically, we're going to get the next deck below the boat deck, which is the Promenade deck. Now, the problem is that in this issue, all we're doing is we're sticking some decking down onto the floor. Now, as you know in my previous videos, if that was to come up, I would just normally do that off camera and it would all be done ready to go. The problem is in this issue is that's all we're doing. We're not putting any other bits or working on any other bits of the ship. So we're not working on the hull, we're not working on the boat deck, we're not working on any fiddly detail. We're just literally putting decking onto the Promenade deck. So for me, it would normally be a video of I've already done that. So what I'm going to do is let's stick the decking onto the Promenade deck. So I'm just going to do a video of how I do it. It's simple as, and you can see the process. So I'm going to start the process. So obviously sticking it down, and then obviously I finish the process with some linseed oil. So we'll go through that. I will have to stop the recording because I'm going to have to give this deck time to dry for a few hours, and then we can continue with the video. But at least it's something. It's something to watch. You know, it's a step-by-step guide. It's, you know, what can you do? These things happen in these magazines. So, anyway, we'll get started on this one. So with all that said, let's get modelling. Okay, so here is our Promenade deck. Obviously this would be one deck underneath where the boat deck, and as you can see, we have got a few bits going on here. So if we turn this over, just looking at this, I can see that there's going to be an LED board there. So we know something's definitely going to be going on there. I think that is a hole for the smoke generators to come through. So we have that there. We have a bit of detail as well. So there is going to be something to this by just looking at it. And I think even you can see the second class, sorry, not first class grand staircase is going to come down onto here. So yeah, it's definitely something going on. But what we're going to do is we're going to put on the boat decks. It's actually quite a simple process. Now, there are 11 pictures on how to put 3 decks down onto this. And basically, I'm just going to show you the way I do it. So, all I'm going to do is, in my little tray here, that I normally use for glue, I've just got some good old Gorilla Wood glue. And I'm just going to use an old brush I've got here. It's quite a rough brush. It does the job. You don't want something too fine. You don't want to muck up your best brushes. And I'm just going to apply this on. Now you don't have to be too quick with it. Try and be a little bit careful as well. And we're just going to add this to it. Now what I do try and do is I try and stay out of the little bits like them sort of slits there, because you do know something's probably going to go in there. I reckon even some benches or something, I don't know. Could be anything. So basically we're just going to apply this. So it's a very, very quick process regarding you don't have any problems. I've had problems where a deck hasn't fitted in the past. That does happen. Okay, now we're just coming up onto some holes here. So obviously we're going to either have some detail in them. So I'm doing it, but I'm not going right up to the holes, because I don't want to get them clogged with wood glue. Now I've said this in the past, and I've learned from this in the past, in getting places like that clogged up from wood glue, when you come to fit your pieces in, it's not the best. So that's that covered in wood glue. Got to one side here just the Promenade decks and just flattening them. Okay, so here we go. I'm just opening them up. Okay, so it's going to be this one here. I try and flatten these before I work with them. And what we're going to do is we're going to peel off the backing. Just like that. I'm just going to line this up best I can with everything. Now the glue will allow me to move this around if I need to. I need to reposition. Just gives you that bit of time. And we have got a bit of excess coming off. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to get a cotton bud and I'm just going to run that, just collecting that glue off. Okay, just where it's run out as it's been flattened. Just checking to make sure none of the glue has gone into these 3 depressions here and these 3 holes. And I'm quite happy with that. So the next thing to do is I'm just going to get some clamps. I'm going to clamp it in place. Now you need to make sure that you clamp this in the areas that are going to definitely need clamping. So definitely the areas like round there. Put another one here. And then you do need some on the boat deck, on the edge of it, not the boat deck, the promenade. So I'm just going to put some like there. Probably put another one there. Now you could use a bit of wood to clamp this down. I'm going to space these out a bit more. You don't have a zillion and one clamps. Okay, now I've just noticed it's moved a little bit. I'm just going to take the clamps off here. Just sort of move that back into position. I've got a bit of excess there. So let's just remove that. And we'll just go back to clamping it. So it's just making sure you're clamping it in the right place. Okay. So on there we've got 2, 4, 6, 7 clamps. Hopefully I have enough clamps to do this with. Okay, so I'm going to go and do the next area, which I'm going to do this area here. So exactly the same as before. Just wood glue again. The problem is if you was to stick them down with the adhesive that's on them, you wouldn't have much time to work with it. And they are notoriously brittle, these decks. Notoriously brittle. So try and remove excess where I can, because I think I soaked it a little bit too much before, but there's nothing I can do about that. In fact, I'm looking at it now as it's being squished down. I can actually see areas I couldn't see before where the wood glue is coming through. I don't want that to be showing. So again, just using the cotton bud just to tidy him up. If I need to move a clamp, I'll move the clamp. I'm just moving that around. And again, I'm seeing more. Wow. Okay, I'm seeing more just in these little slits here. That's why I didn't want to get it. So glad I spotted that. The good thing about wood glue is you can scrape it off. It does come off easily as well. So you can scrape wood glue off. It does come off nice and easily. So it's quite forgiving. It's just a way of doing it. I mean, we've seen, if I move that microphone close to me, we've seen in some people's builds that, you know, they haven't used any adhesive on the boat decks, and the glue and the stickiness from them, it started peeling, which is a huge shame, because it's not what you want to happen. Okay, so we're just gonna get our other piece of deck here, and we're just going to apply this. Remember, you want this to go as flat as possible, so the clamps are always a good idea. I'm looking at the piece again. I'm still saying more. That's doing my head in. In fact, maybe better to clear that. So any little areas you can't get a cotton bud in, I just use a simple cocktail stick. So on the other side, that is already starting to glue. So it's just a matter of time. Now the only thing I would say is don't leave your brush out too long with the wood glue, because if you do, you're not going to have a right good time. Oh, that bit didn't come off there. I'll just put my hand in some wood glue, because that's normally the case. I work with glue. Glue goes all over me. Let's get that off. There we go. Okay, and we're just going to apply this one. Okay, that's gone into place. Lovely. And again, I'm just going to clamp it down. Like I said, if I do see any glue coming through, I'll try and solve that. Let's try and do it with not as many clamps this time. Okay, so straight away I can see an area where the glue's come out. I mean, it's got to escape somewhere. So, at least this is going as flat on it as possible. Another one. I think it should do it. I think I might get away with 7 again. Oh dear. Right, okay, so that's now done. I can see we're absolutely clamped up to mile height. We've got a last little piece that's just going to go on the front here. And this will do the job. Okay, and we'll just get this last little bit of decking on. There we go. So, just making sure it fits between there and it's fully pushed back, which it is. Then I'm just going to get a clamp on it there, get a clamp on it there, and if you don't have these clamps, I mean, I got these from what we have in the Britain Collar Power Shop. If you don't have any of these, then You can use other matters, which I'm going to do in a second. There we go. You can just use simple bulldog clips, which will do exactly the same for you. So I'm just going to use 2 of them, and that is definitely well and truly clamped. And that's it for the moment. So we don't need to do any more on that. All we need to do now is we need to wait for that to dry. I just like to go around and clean up any areas where I see we might have some excess of glue, but it looks pretty good to me. This first side that we did seems to be a bit... Oh no, this is the second side. Stupid me. There we go. Alright, so... There we go. Yeah, just making sure that it's clear. There we go. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll wait for all this to dry, and then when it's dry, we'll come back to it.
2 hours later.
Okay guys, I'm back. So this has been on here now for a few hours. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start to remove the zillion-and-one clamps. I've moved a little bit forward there, but I'm sure it'll be fine. I'll be able to just trim that off. I feel, yeah, a little bit. Okay, so that's the zillion-and-one clamps removed from it, and it's gone down pretty well. I'm pretty impressed. So the last thing I need to do is we're going to put some of this on it. This is basically linseed oil. You don't need a lot. So where I do it, I've got to get into the bottle first, which can be a mission on itself. I mean, I don't think this is poisonous. So why do they have to keep putting stupid tile locks on things? I don't know. Back in 2 seconds, I'll just get this lid off.
Eventually.
Okay, so got the lid off. There we go. So what I'm just going to do now is just going to get some paper towel, kitchen roll, whatever you call it. I'm going to put a bit on, not a lot. And all I'm going to do is just simply just slightly rub the decks. Don't need a lot on. I think the more you use, the darker your decks will be. So add more. And that just protects it. It gives it a nice sheen as well. Like I said, the more you use, the darker it'll go. So just depending on how dark you want your decks. These were made of pine. So there we go. There we go. Now, obviously I said about that little bit. That's just overhanging. So if I just get my scalpel, I'm just gonna run the edge. Maybe that's coming in from the thick end. Just gonna take that bit off, and there we go. It's sorted. Fantastic. Just try a little bit more. Just give it a nice clean edge, and there we've got a nice clean edge, and that is all there is to do in this issue. So like I said, 11 pictures for 3 bits of deckings, but they've got to fill out a magazine somehow. But that is issue 67 complete. Well guys, that's it for issue 67 of the Titanic. I'm sorry, it's not much to do in this issue at all, just putting some more decking down. Guys, whichever way you want to do the decking on your model, that is entirely up to you. It's your model, so you do it as you want. This is how I'm doing mine, because I just want my decking to stick. I'm not saying that it won't stick with what they've given you. I've just seen some really not nice pictures on social media about people's decks coming up. But then, you know, I'm not saying that's going to happen to yours. This is just the way I do mine. I do mine for a precautionary matter, really. I just want mine to last a lot longer than it could do with just that sticker. And you know what? I look at mine and I think to myself, gosh, that could do with a wooden deck. But I think that's a different story for a different day. It's definitely going on the trumpet of Titanic, I know that. But that is definitely another story for another model. Anyway, if you like this video, please could you give it a massive thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell and be notified of any future videos. But as for always, guys, stay safe and bye for now.